Step into a world of wonder at magical little minds. Get ready for fantastic stories that will transport you to extraordinary places. Remember to spread the magic by liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
Thank You, Amu, by Oge Mora. On the corner of First Street, a long street, on the very top floor, Amu was cooking a thick red stew in a big fat pot for a nice evening meal. She seasoned and stirred it and took a small taste. "What a delicious stew," Amu said. "Tonight's dinner will surely be the best I have ever had." With that, Amu put down her spoon and went to read a book before summer. As the thick red stew simmered on the stove, its scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block, until someone was at the door. When Amu opened it, she saw a little boy. "Little boy," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was playing with my race car down the hall when I smelled the most delicious smell," the little boy replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." Stew," he sighed. "That sure sounds yummy." Amu thought for a moment. She was saving her stew for dinner, but she had made quite a bit. It would not hurt to share. "Would you like some?" The little boy nodded. And so Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the little boy said, and went on his way. With that, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. As she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block, until, knock knock, someone was at the door. When Amu opened the door, this time she saw a police officer. "Miss Police Officer," Amu explained, "what brings you to my home?" "I was on duty down the street when I smelled the most delicious smell," Miss Police Officer replied. "What is that?" "Thick red stew." "Ah, stew," she said, and her mouth watered. "That sounds mighty tasty." Amu thought for a moment. There was still enough to share. "Would you like some?" The police officer nodded. Once again, Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the officer said, and went on her way. And so for the second time, Amu closed the door and went back to her book. Sure enough, as she read, her thick red stew's scrumptious scent wafted out the window and out the door, down the hall, toward the street, and around the block, until, again, someone was at Amu's door. This time when she opened it, she saw a hot dog vendor. "Mr. Hot Dog Vendor," Amu exclaimed, "what brings you to my home?" "I was selling my hot dogs down the block when I smelled the most delicious smell," Mr. Hot Dog Vendor replied. "What is it?" "Thick red stew." "Oh, stew." The vendor licked his lips. "That sounds quite delectable." So Amu spooned out some thick red stew from the big fat pot for her nice evening meal. "Thank you, Amu," the hot dog vendor said, and went on his way. Throughout the day, people from all across the neighborhood knocked on Amu's door. She fed a shop owner, a cab driver, a doctor, an actor, a lawyer, a dancer, a baker, an artist, a singer, an athlete, a bus driver, a construction worker. Even the mayor stopped by. And each time they knocked, Amu shared. Soon, the sky darkened, the street lights brightened, and it was finally time for dinner. But when Amu opened her big fat pot of thick red stew for her nice evening meal, it was empty. Amu sniffled. "There goes the best dinner I ever had." Sorry and blue, she sat at the table with her empty pot until knock, 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 knock. Who could that be? Amu wondered. When she opened her door, she saw the little boy, the police officer, the hot dog vendor, the shop owner, the cab driver, the doctor, the actor, the lawyer, the dancer, the baker. Why, everyone she fed today was at her door. I'm sorry, everyone, Amu sighed. My thick red stew is all gone. I have nothing left to share. The little boy tugged at Amu's sleeve. Don't worry, Amu. We're not here to ask. We are here to give. The police officer carried in a fresh salad. The mayor entered with a roast chicken. The baker brought a collection of sweet goodies. Even the little boy presented Amu with something special in a shiny red envelope. Everyone who had knocked on Amu's door that day squeezed inside her tiny apartment, and together they ate, danced, and celebrated. While Amu's big fat pot of thick red stew was empty, her heart was full of happiness and love. That dinner was the best she had ever had. What a beautiful reminder of how sharing brings people together. Ready for another story about gratitude? Let's visit Bear and his friends in Bear Says Thanks. By Karma Wilson, illustrated by Jane Chapman. All alone in his cave, Bear listens to the wind. He is bored, and he misses his friends. I could make a big dinner, a feast I could share. But he looks through his cupboard, and the cupboard is bare. Then Mouse stops by with a huckleberry pie, and the bear says, "Thanks." Bear says, "Goodness me, a delectable pie. But I have made nothing," he adds with a sigh. Then they hear, "Hi-ho," and they both see Hare with a big batch of muffins at the door of the lair. Hare hurries in from the cold, rushing wind, and the bear says, "Thanks." "Of course," says Hare. Then he points to the door. "Here comes Badger. He's got even more." "Brrr," says Badger as he trumps inside. He sets down his pole and he smiles real wide. "I'm back from a stroll at the old fishing hole." And the bear says, "Thanks." Then Gopher and Mole tunnel up from the ground. "We have warm honey nuts, let's pass them around." There's a flap and a flitter and a flurry in the den. When in flutters owl with raven and wren. We have pears from the tree and herbs to brew tea. And the bear says, "Wait!" Bear mutters and he stutters and he wears a big frown. Bear sighs and he moans and he plops himself down. "You have brought yummy treats. You were so nice to share. But me, I have nothing. My cupboards are bare." Mouse squeaks, "Don't fret. There's enough, dear bear. You don't need any food. You have stories to share." His friends hug him tight. "It will be all right." And the bear says, "Thanks." They lay out their feast on a quilt on the ground, and the bear takes a seat while his friends gather around. In a cave in the woods, in a warm, bright lair, the friends feel grateful for their good friend Bear. They pass around platters, they tweet and they chatter, and they all say, "Thanks." That was such a sweet story about being thankful for the people in our lives. And now, we're reading a fun and silly book all about thanking everyone. Up next is The Thank You Book by Mo Willems. I have a lot to be thankful for. I had better get thanking. I'm going to thank everyone who was important to me. Everyone? Everyone. No way! You will forget someone. You will forget someone important. I will thank everyone. It will be a thankorama. Wow, off I go. Squirrels! Piggie! Thank you for your great ideas. Aww, shucks. Snake! Piggie! Thank you for playing ball with me. The pigeon. Thank you for never giving up, and I'm sorry you don't get to be in our books. That is what you think? Thanking is nice, but you will forget someone. I will not. Mouse, birdies, rhino, hippo's big sister, barky dog, pelican, bear, hippo, worms. Thank you all for being great friends. Aww. See that, Gerald? I am a thanking machine. Piggie, you have forgotten someone important. Don't worry, Gerald. My next thanks will be a big one. Good. Thanks, Whale. You are nice. So are you. Ice Cream Pigwin, thank you for your ice cream. It is what I do. Dr. Cat, thank you for being a great doctor. You are welcome. Piggie? Brian Bat, thank you for drawing with me. That was fun. Piggie? Piggie! You are forgetting someone. Someone very important. Really? Oh, now I know who you are talking about. The flies. Thank you for cooking with me. Anytime, dude. Not the flies, Piggie. I cannot think of anyone else I have forgotten to thank, Gerald. Oops. I goofed. Thank you, Elephant Gerald. You are the best friend a pig could ever have. That means a lot to me, Piggie. But I did not think you forgot me. Who did I forget to thank? Our reader. You forgot to thank our reader. You're right. Thank you for being our reader. We could not be us without you. You are the best. You did it. Great thanking, Piggie. Thanks to you. Yep, I'm one lucky pig. Wow, that was a whole lot of thank yous. Our last story today is all about generosity and creativity, and a little bit of magic. Let's enjoy Extra Yarn by Mac Barnett, illustrated by John Klassen. On a cold afternoon, in a cold little town, where everywhere you looked was either the white of snow or the black of soot from chimneys, Annabelle found a box filled with yarn of every color. So she went home and knit herself a sweater. And when Annabelle was done, she had some extra yarn. So she knit a sweater for Mars too. But there was still extra yarn. And when Annabelle and Mars went for a walk, Nate pointed and laughed and said, "You two look ridiculous." "You're just jealous," said Annabelle. "No, I'm not," said Nate. But it turned out he was. And even after she made a sweater for Nate and his dog, and for herself and for Mars, she still had extra yarn. At school, Annabelle's classmates could not stop talking about her sweater. "Quiet!" shouted Mr. Norman. "Quiet, everyone! Annabelle, that sweater of yours is a terrible distraction. I cannot teach with everyone turning around to look at you." "Then I'll knit one for everyone," Annabelle said, "so they won't have to turn around." "Impossible," said Mr. Norman. "You can't." But it turned out she could. And she did. Even for Mr. Norman. And when she was done, Annabelle still had extra yarn. So she knit sweaters for her mom and dad, and for Mr. Pendleton and Mrs. Pendleton, and for Dr. Palmer, and for little Lewis. She made sweaters for everyone, except Mr. Crabtree, who never wore sweaters or even long pants, and who would stand in his shorts with the snow up to his knees. "No sweater for me, thanks," said Mr. Crabtree. So she made Mr. Crabtree a hat, and even then, Annabelle still had extra yarn. She made sweaters for all the dogs, and all the cats, and for other animals too. People thought soon Annabelle would run out of yarn, but it turned out she didn't. So Annabelle made sweaters for things that didn't even wear sweaters. Things began to change in that little town. News spread of this remarkable girl who never ran out of yarn, and people came to visit from around the world to see all the sweaters and to shake Annabelle's hand. One day an archduke, who was very fond of clothes, sailed across the sea and demanded to see Annabelle. "Little girl," said the archduke, "I would like to buy that miraculous box of yarn, and I'm willing to offer you $1 million. "No thank you," said Annabelle, who was knitting a sweater for a pickup truck. The archduke's mustache twitched. "2 million, he said. Annabelle shook her head. "No thanks." "10 million, shouted the archduke. "Take it or leave it." "Leave it," said Annabelle. "I won't sell the yarn." And she didn't. So that night, the archduke hired 3 robbers to break into Annabelle's house, and they stole the box and took it to the archduke, who set off across the snow and sailed over the sea. Back to his castle. The archduke put on his favorite song and sat in his best chair. Then he took out the box, and he lifted its lid, and he looked inside. His mustache quivered. It shivered. It trembled. The Archduke hurled the box out the window and shouted, "Little girl, I curse you with my family's curse. You will never be happy again." But it turned out she was.
Thank you for joining us on this magical reading journey. If you're ready to continue the fun and learn even more, visit our Etsy shop for exciting educational printables. You can count on us to make learning numbers fun and easy with our popular animal jungle-themed kids numbers flashcards. Let's keep the learning adventure going. Head over to our Etsy shop now and make learning numbers a colorful and engaging experience.